The text came through while I was reviewing patient charts at the hospital. Party time changed to 2 p.m. Don't bother leaving work early. My hands trembled as I stared at my husband Marcus's message. Our son Oliver's 7th birthday party, the one we planned for 4 p.m. for months, was suddenly being moved without my input. The kids won't even notice you're not there, came his next text, dripping with the casual cruelty I'd grown unfortunately familiar with over the past year. Ever since he'd started his new job at the tech startup, Marcus had become increasingly dismissive of my role as both a mother and a trauma nurse. I took a deep breath, steadying myself against the nurse's station. My colleague Anna glanced over with concern. "Everything okay, Madeline?" "Marcus changed Oliver's party time," I said, my voice tight. "He knows I can't leave until my shift ends at 3:30. Anna's face darkened. She'd witnessed Marcus's escalating behavior firsthand at the hospital Christmas party, where he loudly commented on how simple nursing was compared to his work in tech. "That's not right, Maddie. Oliver will be devastated if you're not there." What Marcus didn't know, what I'd kept carefully hidden during months of his increasing emotional manipulation, was that I'd been preparing for something like this. 6 months ago, when the city announced they were looking for donors to fund new playground equipment at Riverside Park, I quietly submitted a proposal. My years of saving, combined with an inheritance from my grandmother, had allowed me to become the primary donor for the project. The playground was being unveiled today, right before Oliver's party, the same party Marcus had just tried to make sure I'd miss. I picked up my phone, fingers hovering over the keys. A year ago, I would have begged Marcus to change the time back. 6 months ago, I might have frantically tried to rearrange my shift. But today, I simply wrote, "Okay, see you there." "What are you going to do?" Anna asked, watching me slip my phone back into my scrubs pocket. I managed a small smile. "I'm going to let him dig his own hole." The next few hours crawled by as I treated patients, my mind constantly drifting to Oliver, my sweet, dinosaur-obsessed little boy who'd been so excited about having his party at the park. He'd spent weeks telling his friends about the super special surprise that would be there. A surprise Marcus assumed was the magician he'd hired, not knowing about the new playground equipment I'd helped design with Oliver's interests in mind. At 1:45, I changed out of my scrubs into the clothes I brought, not the casual wear Marcus would expect, but a crisp blazer and pants appropriate for the playground dedication ceremony. The park director had been more than happy to schedule it right before Oliver's party when I'd explained the situation. As I drove to the park, another text came through from Marcus. "Kids are having a blast. Guess they don't need mom around after all." I parked my car and took a moment to collect myself, watching families stream into the park. The old playground equipment had been hidden behind construction barriers for weeks. Now those barriers were decorated with birthday balloons, Marcus's doing, but he hadn't noticed the small stage set up nearby or the city officials gathering for the ceremony. Through the crowd, I spotted Oliver in his favorite dinosaur t-shirt, bouncing excitedly as his friends arrived. Marcus stood off to the side with his phone, probably crafting another smug text about my absence. He'd been trying to edge me out of family events for months, always with the same excuse, that my work schedule was inconvenient for everyone else. I stepped out of my car, squaring my shoulders. The park director spotted me and waved, starting to gather everyone for the ceremony. Marcus was so busy texting that he didn't notice the crowd shifting, didn't see me making my way toward the small stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," the park director's voice boomed through the speakers, "before today's celebration begins, we'd like to take a moment to thank the generous donor who made our new dinosaur-themed playground possible." I watched Marcus's head snap up, confusion crossing his face as he finally noticed the gathering crowd. Oliver, standing near the construction barriers with his friends, was practically vibrating with excitement. "Please join me in welcoming Dr. Madeline Chen, whose contribution has transformed our park." The look on Marcus's face as I took the stage was something I'll never forget. But it was Oliver's beaming smile that made everything worth it, the months of planning, the extra shifts, the secret meetings with contractors to design every dinosaur-themed element. This was just the beginning. Marcus had no idea what else I had prepared. But he was about to learn that sometimes the people you try to push aside are the ones holding all the cards. The real party was just getting started. As I stepped off the stage, Oliver broke free from his friends and ran toward me, his face glowing with pride. "Mom, you did this? You made a dinosaur playground." I knelt down to his level, wrapping him in a tight hug. "Happy birthday, sweetheart. Want to help me show everyone?" Marcus appeared behind Oliver, his earlier smugness replaced by barely contained anger. "Madeline, what is this? How did you?" He glanced around nervously at the gathering crowd of parents and city officials. "Not now, Marcus," I said calmly, taking Oliver's hand. "It's time for the unveiling." The construction barriers came down one by one, revealing the playground I'd spent months helping to design. A massive climbing structure shaped like a brontosaurus, its long neck forming a twisting slide, velociraptor-themed spring riders, a T-Rex climbing wall with fossil-shaped handholds. Even the ground had been specially designed with patterns that looked like dinosaur tracks embedded in stone. Oliver's friends rushed forward, squealing with excitement. "This is the coolest thing ever," one shouted. "Oliver, your mom is awesome." I watched Marcus's face cycle through emotions, shock, embarrassment, and finally, the dawning realization that his attempt to exclude me had backfired spectacularly. Parents approached to congratulate me, many of them familiar faces from the hospital where I treated their children. "Dr. Chen, this is incredible. Such a wonderful gift to the community. No wonder Oliver's been so excited about his party." Marcus tried to regain control of the situation, stepping forward with his phone. "Yes, well, we should get started with the magician I hired." "Actually," I interrupted smoothly, "the paleontologist from the Natural History Museum should be here first. Oliver mentioned how much his class enjoyed their museum field trip, so she brought some real fossils for the kids to examine." Right on cue, Dr. Sanders arrived with her specimen cases, and the kids gathered around in awe. Marcus stood off to the side, repeatedly checking his phone, his carefully planned party slipping through his fingers. "How long have you been planning this?" he finally asked, his voice low and tight with anger. 6 months, I replied, watching Oliver excitedly point out different dinosaur features to his friends. "Around the time you started telling me I wasn't essential to family events." "That's not what I—" "Yes, it is, Marcus. Every time my work schedule inconvenienced your plans. Every time you changed times or dates at the last minute. Every time you told our son I was too busy to care." A group of kids ran past us, heading for the slide. Oliver's voice carried across the playground. "Mom helped design it. She remembered all my favorite dinosaurs." Marcus flinched. "You're making me look bad in front of everyone." "No," I corrected him. "I'm showing our son that his mother keeps her promises even when others try to break them." "I had everything planned perfectly," he protested. "The magician, the cake. The deliberately changed time," I added. The text gloating about my absence. He had the grace to look uncomfortable. I just thought it would be simpler. Simpler to exclude me from our son's birthday. To make me miss this moment. I gestured to the playground, where Oliver was now leading his friends in a pretend paleontology expedition. "Look at him, Marcus. Really look. Is your pride worth missing this joy?" Before he could answer, Oliver ran up to us. "Mom, Dad, Dr. Sanders says we can each take home a real fossil. And she's going to tell us about the new dinosaur they discovered." I smiled at our son. "That's wonderful, sweetheart. Why don't you show your dad the special fossil area? I think he missed it during the unveiling." As Oliver dragged a subdued Marcus toward the fossil display, I caught Anna's eye across the playground. She'd arrived with her kids, right on schedule, carrying the special dinosaur cake I'd ordered, far more elaborate than the basic sheet cake Marcus had planned. This wasn't about revenge or one-upmanship. This was about showing my son that he could count on me, that his mother's absence from events wasn't because she didn't care, but because someone had been deliberately pushing her away. The party was transforming into something magical, but not because of my planning or Marcus's schemes. It was magical because of Oliver's pure joy, his excitement in sharing this moment with both his parents and his friends. As I watched Marcus kneel beside our son, examining fossils and finally engaging in the moment rather than his phone, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The truth was out now. The real question was, what would Marcus do with it? The party wound down as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the new playground. Kids reluctantly said goodbye. clutching their fossil specimens and goodie bags filled with dinosaur-themed treasures. Oliver was still buzzing with excitement, showing his last remaining friends the hidden dinosaur footprints near the swings. Marcus hadn't said much since the fossil demonstration, but I'd noticed a change in his behavior. He had put his phone away, actually engaged with the children, and even managed a genuine smile when Oliver excitedly explained each dinosaur feature to him. As the last family left, Oliver ran up to me, his eyes bright. "Mom, this was the best birthday ever. Can we stay a little longer? Please?" I glanced at Marcus, who nodded slightly. 10 more minutes, sweetheart." While Oliver raced back to the T-Rex climbing wall, Marcus approached me, his earlier anger replaced by something that looked like shame. "The hospital board approved the donation 6 months ago," I said before he could speak. "I took extra night shifts to make it happen. All those times you thought I was choosing work over family, I was building this." "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked quietly. "Would you have listened, or would you have tried to take over, like you did with every other family event this year?" He flinched at the truth in my words. "I didn't realize. I thought I was making things more efficient. Your schedule is so unpredictable." "No, Marcus, you were trying to erase me. Every change time, every last-minute reschedule, every text gloating about my absence, you were systematically pushing me out of Oliver's life." "That's not what He trailed off, watching Oliver pretend to be a paleontologist. "Okay, maybe it was. I got caught up in this image of being the fun parent, the one who could always be there. It was easier than admitting I was jealous." "Jealous? Of what?" "Of your connection with him. Oliver lights up when he talks about you. Mom saves people at the hospital. Mom knows all about dinosaurs. Mom never breaks her promises. I'm just Dad with his boring tech job and his phone." I let his words sink in, remembering all the times I caught him checking his work messages during family dinners, planning calls during Oliver's bedtime stories. "You did that to yourself, Marcus." I didn't need a grand gesture like this playground to be important to Oliver. I just needed to be present when I could and honest when I couldn't. Oliver called out from the top of the slide, "Mom, Dad, watch this." We both waved, and I added softly, "He needs both of us." Not competing, not undermining each other, just both of us. Marcus was quiet for a moment and said, "I have notifications from 3 work groups right now. Usually, I'd be checking them, planning tomorrow's meetings. But watching him today, seeing how you made his dinosaur dreams come true, I missed so much by trying to prove I was the better parent. It's not too late to change that." He pulled out his phone, and for a moment, I thought he was going to check those notifications. Instead, he turned it off completely and put it in his pocket. "Oliver," he called out, "want to show me that fossil hunting technique Dr. Sanders taught you?" Our son's face lit up. "Really? You want to learn?" "Really, maybe we can come back this weekend, if Mom's free too." Oliver looked at me hopefully. I smiled. "I'll swap shifts with Anna. Saturday afternoon?" No last-minute changes, Marcus promised, and I heard the deeper meaning in his words. As the sky darkened and the park lights came on, we finally convinced Oliver it was time to go home. He was exhausted but happy, clutching his favorite fossil in one hand and holding both our hands with the other. "Best birthday ever," he mumbled sleepily as we walked to the cars. "Can we do this again tomorrow?" "The playground will be here whenever you want to visit," I assured him. That's the thing about building something real. It lasts. Marcus caught my eye over Oliver's head, and I saw understanding there. Real relationships, real connections with our children. They had to be built carefully, maintained consistently, and protected fiercely. No amount of planned parties or expensive gifts could replace that foundation. As I watched them drive away, Oliver already dozing in his car seat, I thought about what tomorrow would bring. Marcus would have to prove his words with actions, show that he truly understood the damage his behavior had caused. We had a long way to go in rebuilding trust. But today, watching Oliver's joy as his friends explored the playground, seeing Marcus finally put down his phone and engage with our son, it felt like a start. Sometimes the biggest changes begin with small moments. A dinosaur slide, a shared smile, a switched-off phone. I turned back for one last look at the playground, now peaceful in the evening light. The dedication plaque caught the glow of a nearby lamppost. Dedicated to the children of our community, who remind us that the best gifts are the ones we share. Dr. Madeline Chen. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges, But tonight in this moment, it was enough to know that I'd kept my promise to my son. Sometimes standing your ground isn't about winning. It's about building something that lasts.